It's always, where is Jack Stauber? It's never, how is Jack Stauber?
What I've been playing in the background is a promo that he made for his album, which, honestly, I don't know who the hell thought it was a good idea. Maybe I'm just missing something with all of this, but his channel is riddled with these types of creepy claymation, 3D animation, and just weird polygon characters doing very strange robotic movements, and I just don't understand the whole purpose of all this, other than to garner attention to his channel.
What you just watched was my first ever encounter with Jack Stauber's work, and that really was my first knee-jerk opinion on it, taken from the first video that blew me up nearly 5 years ago. I initially blew him off as some random artist that people liked for seemingly no reason. I remember watching the videos and thinking, like, why would someone waste their time watching this? It's so, like, nonsensical and it's all over the place. But shortly after posting that video, I witnessed thousands of fans en masse flooding the comments, expressing just how close-minded I truly was. And my curiosity got the better of me. So I did what most fans do when they discover Jack Stauber. I sat down and I watched for hours. I was completely enamored with the funky psychedelic visuals that looked straight out of MS Paint, that served as a veil to deep, raw meanings that Jack Stauber is so famous for. I mean, who else can create such a masterpiece of a song that is dedicated to talking people back from the ledge, all bundled together in that amazing, unique sound that we all know too well? But I became a fan pretty late. If you were lucky enough to be a Jack Stauber fan during his most active years, from 2017 to 2020, you got to experience history, as this period of time would mark when his channel was more active than it would ever be, posting anything from life lesson-soaked MS Paint animated skits to incredible claymations set to some of the most catchy tunes imaginable. This really was the golden age for many of Jack Stauber fans, and it still kind of is. Since that amazing era, and specifically since Opal dropped, it's really been a standstill moment for a lot of us. Most of us just kind of wait around hoping that he's working on something in the background, and then, every so often something gets dropped or leaked that surprises us all. In the time between, when there isn't anything new to watch, most of us find comfort in being able to check the Patreon, knowing that he was still out there in the world creating like he always loved to do. But the Patreon's been dead for over a year, which seriously begs the question: what has happened to Jack Stauber? Now, why am I making this video now, right? Why didn't I make this a long time ago when my videos on him were more relevant? Well, this video came to be because of his recent showing on Adult Swim's Off the Air. When I sat through this 10-minute short and ended off with Jack's part, I left that video feeling like this was going to be his last piece of work for a long while. It's been almost 3 months, and this minute-long short is basically the only thing that he's publicly released, which makes me believe that I'm somewhat right, and that this short is an open call out to his recent growth and potential step back from creating. To explain how I got there, I think it makes sense to go over everything from his first video to his latest short, and there's no better place to start than the main channel. The first 40 videos really feel like someone who just picked up a camera and just wanted to make something. A lot of it is just experimental animations like marketing or good luck, which have that same Jack Stauber charm for, being oddly comforting despite the odd imagery. But, for the most part, a lot of these videos just felt like when I was a kid and doing random edits of myself in my room, or just filming my friends because I wanted to create something. Right? It was the exploration phase, trying to find what exactly I wanted to do with this creative need that I had. Further proof of that this is what defined this era of the channel, is the short film that he made, titled Din the Life, a nonsensical short film that felt very reminiscent of some of the stuff I've made with friends in middle school and high school.
I woke up this morning with a cold in my throat. I stared at the sun in an act of protest. My eyes were starting to hurt.
My eyes are starting to hurt.
There's just a lot of things in this video that really felt like he just woke up and felt like making something that day. Left it online for others to see without a further thought to it. As I said before, this really felt like that weird exploration phase where you don't know exactly what you want to make until you do. And as an outsider looking in, it feels like that time for Jack came when he figured out what he wanted to make. And that was around the time that he posted these 4 videos. Everything before this, aside from the Viator album, felt like simple experiments in every medium, from live music to filmmaking to various animations, leading up to the first video that felt like a step into the shoes that would become his home. Healer by Jack Stauber. This song feels like an unfiltered release of emotions. Or as one of the comments puts it, it feels like the life of a dying artist flashing before his own eyes. You know, the video for me reminded me of the days I'd spend at my grandparents' house, which in hindsight, make me wonder how time back then seemed to wander so slowly, despite everything feeling like a race as I'm now older. This video truly feels like the beginning of something bigger leading into the next 3 videos that, for me, truly encapsulate what Jack Stauber is best at. That incredible feeling of comfort found in Jack Stauber's October, the serene nature and visuals allowing you to feel like that one summer day spent with family and friends where the air felt crisp and the nightly fun seemed to go on forever. Then we have Jack Stauber's Better, an absolute dive into the weird and absurd, with lyrics and music that aren't coherent at all, perfectly paired with Jack's first ever CGI that truly pulled together this ominous yet comforting feeling that he's become known for, leading all the way to Jack Stauber's
Try to make fun. Listen up, maybe.
Whisper, a depiction of emotion in its rawest form that Jack Stauber is able to get across without overcomplicating anything. Plain, hand-drawn black and white animation with synchronized music and occasional sound bites that make you feel like there is something deeper there, even if there truly isn't. It's kind of magical how much I've analyzed this video only to realize that there may not even be an intended meaning at all. And it's the reason why so many of us are drawn to what this guy makes. I often find myself wondering if these pieces are truly about what I say, or if they're just a mirror to my biggest struggles. With every video feeling like this customizable puzzle where you're able to create and mend the next piece and the entire interpretation to your own to soothe over the hardships of life. To me, these 4 videos mark the exact moment that Jack started to find himself, and it's right around this time that we see more of that MS Paint animation finding its way into other types of media. with Tenderly and Coy Boy simply being a sneak peek of what was to come. Because it would not be too long before Jack Stauber found his voice. Everything that came before this, the 40 videos of his experiments to these select few that defined his style and the trial and error that followed, all culminated into a climax that came in the form of a promotional video for the infamous Pop Food album. Nothing summarizes this video better than the top comment that you can find on it, because this video truly does mark when Jack became Jack Stauber. Shortly after this video, Jack would eventually create what ended up becoming one of the greatest pieces of promotional material I've ever seen. A video simply titled Pop Food, which for me was one of the first videos that I ever watched. It was career defining. The playful silliness juxtaposed against the strangest analog CGI visuals only a truly creative, free mind like Jack could come up with. With the video feeling like you were peering into the brain of someone who is unable to define their feelings by words and chooses this medium as a way of expressing them. This is when Jack Stauber began to find his stride, releasing more and more animations and straying away from the IRL videos that we've seen in the earlier uploads, with A Stranger being one of the first music videos that felt like a true Jack Stauber style music video. The melancholic empty void paired with a song that encapsulates one of my favorite quotes of all time from Caesar A. Cruz. Art should comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. There's a reason why my girlfriend finds it creepy that I love this type of media, and it's because while it's disturbing in nature, those of us that are so-called disturbed see through the unorthodox visuals and understand the experience that's put in front of us. Although we do have some IRL stuff here and there, from his beautiful Dead Flowers performance to the experimental short film of a college student working day in and day out on their project, we see his channel begin to take shape here, with micropops popping up every so often, being mixed in with those infamous MS Paint animated skits that seem to come in droves. With each video, he added something new to his arsenal, whether it be becoming absolutely sick at creating that data bending effect, to incorporating IRL footage seamlessly into his videos. He was becoming better and better with this original style that he created himself. And I believe the video that marked his settling down into this new style is Valentine's Day is Not for the Lonely, as nearly every video after that has that classic Jack Stauber feel, with the videos coming before reading more like a training arc in hindsight that led into what many of us see as the golden age of the channel. This is when videos like Bumblebees Are Out, Peppermint, It's Benny Worm, and so many more became hallmarks and icons of his channel that represented exactly who this guy was becoming. The most traumatic artist to ever grace the internet was truly living up to that name, as each video from here on out always had an undertone of some kind of lesson, whether it be about the busy days of life where you have to get your mom on and tackle life head on, to other days where you feel literally like dead weight, going through the motions of everyday living after a life-changing event has occurred, with some videos having that underlying tone even if it wasn't really obvious. For example, let's take a more cheerful song like Cheeseburger Family. Even though the song itself on the surface appears to be like really cheerful and happy and fun, it still has a clear angle on the struggles of being destined for one thing when you want something else out of life, right? In this case, the cheeseburger being part of a cheeseburger combo alluded to by the fact that they are living in a paper bag home, equipped with pets that are meal sides and a drink for an outside sculpture. The burger looks beyond the confines of its destiny, wondering what life would have been like if they had a family, giving ketchup and mustard an alternative role instead of being mere condiments. Here they are shampoo and body wash. Daydreaming of a life with this made-up family in its head, instead of the destiny, which is that it's just a burger, probably part of a family meal, ultimately ending with the hand popping up that seemingly eats them. And maybe, you know, what we're watching is like the afterlife for this cheeseburger that was part of that family meal of 5. I think it says a lot that I'm able to take away that kind of meaning from a seemingly innocent video about cheeseburgers. But that, to me, that's what's important. Like, the fact that there's room for that interpretation there and that it doesn't feel like a stretch, right? You know, I'll give leeway into the thought that maybe some of these videos are just genuinely him letting the creative juices flow, but I've always been a firm believer in that true art like this comes from a place of experience. Even if it's something small, like Jack just staring at his fast food cheeseburger in front of him and wondering, what would it be like if this burger had a family? And boom, we get cheeseburger family. There is always some spark of inspiration, and whether it's his own experience or not, it's clear that there's always been an underlying message of family and relationship trauma through his videos. But I'm getting carried away, right? This is a video on what happened to Jack Stauber, not why is Jack Stauber. But the reason I mention all that is because it sets up for my interpretation of where we're going. Because I really think that there is something to take away from the videos that he posts. Maybe this is just a natural next step for an audience that doesn't get any like real interviews, because we don't really have a definitive answer from Jack Stauber on pretty much anything. It feels like any public reply that he's ever made is always kind of satirical, and any interviews that he's always done have been kind of just like not serious. Like I don't think he really cares to put a label on what he makes. But let's move on, right? I just wanted to say that because I think it's important to understand that there is something to take away from anything that he makes. The golden age came and went, and along the way were some videos that I feel like hint at why Jack Stauber takes the hiatuses that he does. As you scroll along the channel into the other half of the golden era, videos like Keyman, Cooking with Abigail, and Lima Bean Man stick out like a sore thumb. And it's because these videos feel like a commentary on his experience as a creator in the limelight, with Keyman being a direct call out to the audience. The first lyrics literally saying, "If I jingle my keys, don't call me Keyman, please," as he turns into a caricaturized version of himself, which it feels like a nice way of saying, like, look, I love what I do and I enjoy what I do, but please don't typecast me. I want the creative freedom to make whatever I want. And it's sad because even the most well-intentioned people like me do it. I just did it. Like, that's all I've been doing. I literally have a video titled "The Traumatic World of Jack Stauber." It's just hard not to. You know, when we watch these videos, it's hard not to relate to what feels like the obvious, which is those traumatic events stemming from living a human life. And Keyman marks the first of many times that he has done this kind of call out or fourth wall break, whatever you want to call it, to his sudden fame. Like Cooking with Abigail. This video screams to me like his take on the media industry, or possibly his own experience with it. With Abigail having her own cooking show, believing this is what she wanted until an outsider fig tells her that her dreams were founded on misguided hopes, and that it can't watch it happen to her any longer, to which she seemingly ignores it and is given heaps of money while gross businessmen watch from the outskirts enjoying what they are seeing. With the video ending with Abigail leaving the set in its entirety. To me, this video felt like Jack Stauber literally saying, yeah, I've seen what the industry is like, and it's not what I thought it was, and I don't want to be part of it. Ending this thought off with Lima Bean Man, a video expressing his struggles to find his wife hoping that she isn't dead. Only for this girl that opened the cabinet, or his audience opening the cabinet, in this case, loving and dancing along to his worst nightmare, then closing the door when she doesn't need it anymore. As if to say that, like, we are abusing videos like this, right? We're only opening the cabinet, or in this case, tuning into Jack Stauber's stuff, when we need that joy and that void filled, right? With that joy being extracted from some of the most deep, profound, and complex experiences that an artist can possibly relay in this medium. I firmly believe that in some way, all of Jack Stauber's deeper videos like these three, they do have some real message beneath them that is meant to be understood. It's hard to not believe that when we have videos like New Normal, which is a clear take on the entire COVID epidemic that plagued the world for a couple of years, showcasing that as the new normal. What I'm trying to get at by throwing these analysis in your face super quick is that it's not uncommon for videos that we see to mimic what may very well be Jack Stauber's innermost thoughts. The reason that I feel like we need to go there is because, again, we don't have anything from him. So the only thing we're left to interpret is what he makes. You know, maybe it's just the other artists that I watch, but I just find it very hard to believe that someone is able to create these kinds of videos without having experienced at least some of the stories themselves. Deep down, you can just tell that somebody hurt this person, or at least they know someone that has gone through this, or they've seen something like that that has inspired what we are watching happen. I do want to give a disclaimer, because none of us know Jack Stauber. Unless you just happen to be one of his friends watching this video, in which case, cool. But many of us are just admirers of his work. We don't know who he is, how he is, what he likes, what he dislikes. We only know Jack Stauber, the artist. And I'm approaching this next piece from that angle to truly answer what I believe happened to Jack Stauber. And now that you all have the proper context, we can finally dive into why I believe his most recent showing on Adult Swim's Off the Air is a direct goodbye. So before we get into it, I want to talk about how I feel like most people watched this video probably didn't even watch it. I have to believe that there's a good chunk of people that just skipped the first 9 minutes of it just to get to the Jack Stauber segment, and for those unfortunate few, you missed out. I would highly suggest going back to watch it, because a lot of the artists before Jack's segment created some amazing pieces of media and also kind of add to what Jack made. From the Hansel and Gretel animation that felt like a checkpoint in a video game before the final boss, to the amazing baby street race. The theme of this video really is growth, right? An apt name for a short dedicated to all types of growth. Whether it be allowing yourself to truly enjoy something even if others don't understand it, or the realization that we are literally growing and aging every second and nothing can stop it, or someone just going through puberty and the changes that come with it. This short has everything to do with growth. And I think they use Jack Stauber at the end, not just so that people will sit through the beginning, but also because it's a different kind of growth. It's not simply the aging kind, where you're young and now you're old, but the kind where you grow as a person, changing your beliefs, ideologies, your entire outlook on life. When I watched Goodbye Mr. Schizo, the title of Jack's segment, it felt like a telling of his experience creating for the now insanely huge audience that he stumbled into. Everything from here on out will be my own personal interpretation based on what I think an artist of Jack's size is likely to go through with the audience that he has. No matter what he's been able to create, it never seems to make his audience happy, and any step towards trying to ease their concern has always been met with what he believes to be anger. Or is that just his mind playing tricks on him, right? As indicated by the long blink right here, right? It all goes away, because in reality, a lot of us just want the best for him, whether it be creating or not creating, right? We're all happily waiting here if he chooses to engage with us, but we aren't the scary people that he might feel like he needs to create for. Instead, we are these happy-go individuals that really should have no effect on who he is as a person. That's what this beginning section feels like, you know, like a realization of this freedom that he could have as he quite literally crawls out of the hole he's created for himself in his own mind. The hole that he was using to hide himself from all the bad thoughts. And the moment that he steps out, it's new ground for him, right? It's hard to walk through because he's been sheltering himself from the reality of the situation for such a long time, which is that most of us are more than happy to enjoy the creations that we have. And, you know, should he choose to make something new, of course we're going to be there for it, but it's not a demand. Despite that, you know, it seems Jack has brought a reminder from the hole that he dug himself out of. This ongoing struggle with having to create for someone else instead of himself, exemplified by the kite coming out of his pocket. A looming thought in the back of his mind that always kept him from wanting to express this thought to the world because, as he says, he has it all to lose. He has everything in the world to lose by creating and trying to appease his audience. With the kite combating, do you? Right? Do you really? Says who? And I think that this is a lot of us, right? I think the kite saying this is literally us when it comes to Jack Stauber, right? Who exactly is putting pressure on you? Because true fans understand that these videos are already enough, right? This entire catalog is amazing. If he chose not to make anything for the rest of his life, I think most of us are more than happy to enjoy what we have. With the wind picking up, possibly symbolizing the pressure that Jack has allowed this looming thought to take control over his creative freedom. Even with this thought in mind, the wind begins to pick up and we literally see a moment in time where Jack has just kind of accepted the pressure. Like, he's almost just like, okay, you know, like I guess this is life now. I just let my audience tell me what to make. You know, that is until he makes one final desperate claim to the kite, explaining that we don't understand, right? You guys don't understand the struggle that I have, right? What we are watching unfold is more serious than me just making stuff, right? This is my life's passion. This is my life's work, right? I've got my soul to lose. And again, the kite says, do you? Do you really? And for the first time in a while, or maybe just ever, Jack takes control of the kite, guiding himself on his own creative journey instead of allowing the audience to guide him. Ending with this image of his feet on the ground, literally grounding himself, as if to say, it's time I take control of what I want to make instead of allowing the pressure of creating to get to me. And this ending could be interpreted in either direction. At first, when I watched it, I truly thought this was a goodbye message with an unknown return time, right? A return time really far out in the future. And it's because at the time, and again, with the projection stuff, right? Me projecting, I was taking a break from YouTube when I watched this video, and a pretty long break. And I didn't want to touch YouTube ever again because it felt like I was just catering to my audience. And it was only when I realized that I have control of what I create that the message of this video became a bit more clear. When I watch it now, I realize that this ending is a sign of things to come, whether that means now, 3 months from now, a year, or however long it takes. I think it's a good message. Grounding yourself here with the kite now at your disposal, right? You can pick it up whenever you want. Sure, the kite needs wind to fully catch on, but just like Jack, I realized that it's not up for me to wait for the wind to pull out the kite. Maybe I need to hit the ground running and create some wind of my own to get the creative juices flowing. So there's my true take on the enigma that has been this artist. An artist who never feared creating beyond his wildest dreams until maybe those creations were being perceived by more eyes than he wanted. And maybe it was those very eyes that made him feel trapped and scared to create, taking long hiatus after long hiatus until choosing to hide himself away behind a safe paywall. And even that became too much for him after some time. All of that to realize that maybe the pressure from the eyes never existed in the first place, and that it's always been up to him, the artist, to realize that you always guide your own journey, and anything else is just plain stupid. We create because it's a need that lives deep inside all of us. And the moment you turn that need into an obligation that has to meet some kind of unrealistic expectation, it's going to get hard. And you're going to dig a hole that feels impossible to escape. But that doesn't mean it'll never happen. And that, my friends, is what I think happened to Jack Stauber, because the truth of the matter is, it's always what happened to Jack Stauber. It's never how is Jack Stauber.
One man's garbage is another man's trash. I can't even drive my car without being smashed. It would be a blessing if I could just crash. Who even gives a fuck? I spent all my cash. Found me in a pool of vomit, face down in the grass. Hard for me to keep up with how many minutes passed. Didn't say bye to my kids when I seen them last. Tell the Lord he can take me now if he makes it fast. On a side note, I smile every time.
Made it to the end of this video. You're awesome. This was a really hard video to write. I wrote so many variations of this video. Like I literally have like a probably like a 20-page script that I wrote and then never went back to. It's kind of crazy because I wrote that like 3 months ago. When I look back at it, like my interpretations are mostly the same, but the last video we have from him, the last piece of work that we have from him, really changed my perspective, changed on it a lot. I only really want to create things that I feel like are a representation of my closest final opinion at the time of creating. I still believe that people are not bound to any opinion. Like I could say this year that I like chocolate, and then next year maybe I'll like vanilla or something. Like videos on the internet are only ever going to be a time capsule of how that person was at that time, and never like a true representation of who they are now. And that's kind of what I wanted to get across with this video. Like I really wanted people to understand that, like, yeah, you know, maybe when he was first creating, it was awesome, and most people, when they're first doing things, like, it's amazing. Like my first few years on YouTube were incredible. Specifically the first year, I remember being really excited to wake up and research all these new things and interview people that I would never have a chance to talk to, and meeting other YouTubers online and talking to them. And by year like 2 and 3 and then 4, I was just burnt out, and I was just like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. And a lot of it stemmed from like idea that if I don't create what people want to see, that I'll fail. And then I just realized that like that's wrong. Like I've talked to so many of my friends about it, and a lot of them are kind of under the impression of just make stuff, you know, like what is stopping you from just posting? That advice, when I went back and watched a lot of the Jack Stauber videos, and then leading up to that one, this final one, it just felt like that's what it meant. But again, you know, it could be projecting. I think a lot of interpretations of any pieces of art are always going to be some kind of projection of the person's beliefs, but I don't know. I guess you'll never really know unless the person comes out and says it, but we're never going to get a statement like that. So let's move past all this. Right? I'm already kind of talking a while. With all of that said, let's get into the patron shout outs. Thank you to everyone that is on screen for still being on screen. Like, the Patreon is really just a place now to just support the channel. I don't really post anything crazy on there besides like some behind the scenes stuff or like little updates here and there. I don't think I really do a ton with it. And I just want to be honest about that up front, because I don't want people to look at it and then join thinking that they're going to get like a bunch of amazing like content all the time. It's free to join. Like you can just join it for free. And if I ever do post any like uncensored content or anything on there, you could just like join for free and have access to it. There's no paywall for it. Everyone that's paid on screen is doing it of their own fruition, and they do not have to. And it's a newer thing that I'm doing that I think is cool. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. With all of that said, I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.